see, we built a bike, so we're going to go and expand upon what we did. I'm Tim Verdiak.
I'm Nolan Smith.
I'm Nick Polito.
I'm Abdulaziz Ali.
So a quick overview of what we're going to show you guys today. We didn't go as in depth as the other group. A lot of our presentation will be demonstration. We're going to go over our project background, what guided our design of this bike. We're going to go over the bike attachment, which we have here to show all of you guys. Just go over a few RESNA submission dates that we've kind of outlined, and then questions and demos is going to be the main portion of our demonstration. So Jack, whose mom's actually here, Ivy, we met her at the beginning of the year, and we really didn't know what to expect. Jack, he's a 4th grader, I believe, and he uses this kid walk mobility system to walk around. He has a disease which is called dystonia, which is very similar to cerebral palsy. So Jack cannot walk by himself. Jack cannot really move by himself or independently. He really depends on this mobility system here to get around. And essentially he's just strapped into this harness, and he can kind of drag his feet as he walks around. So one of the major issues for this, which Ivy told us, was children with this disease don't really develop muscles in their legs. So what happens is that their Achilles tendon ends up shortening up with long duration in a wheelchair. And once that happens, if the kids ever want to recover, ever hope to recover from their wheelchair, they have to get a really expensive surgery, which insurance does not cover. This is a huge problem for many developing children. So there was a need to keep Jack active. How we were going to do this, we weren't sure at the beginning, but we knew we had to make sure that Jack got exercise somehow or in some way. One thing Ivy told us, which is really important, is that when Jack is in this device without the bike, he gets very tired very easily. He'll walk for periods of about 4 or 5 steps and then just kind of doze off and just hang there lifelessly. So we were really hoping to develop something that's fun for him, and that can make him feel more normal with all the kids around him. So we came up with an idea of creating a bike for Jack.
Yeah, so as Nick said before, leg movement was the key. Building muscles and kind of getting used to that motion that's a little similar to walking, so that when he starts walking, he'll have a little hand up above if he hadn't been biking before. We wanted to tap into something. When we met with Jack's mom and the principal, the ideas that we had kind of went around the schoolyard. He really likes baseball. We wanted to do something with baseball, but couldn't really coordinate anything with the kid walking baseball yet. So we decided that since he likes to go around town, we wanted to build a bike that would help him get around. All in all, it's going to improve his overall just working abilities and health. And as Nick said before, the longer walks, just being able to do more. So that's what we have for that.
Okay. The picture on the left is our initial first prototype. It's very crude. It's made out of PVC, cardboard, and duct tape. It was primarily used just for spacing and sizing, so when we actually made it out of metal, we wouldn't have to do too many changes. But unfortunately, the first frame that we made did have some design flaws. For example, the rear fork where the rear tire goes to, it was very narrow, so the actual wheel wouldn't fit properly, so we had to expand on that and then change the rear dropouts where the axle attaches into. We ended up, instead of having those come parallel to the ground like a standard bike, we changed those to being vertical. The steering column actually inhibited the handlebars from rotating freely. It would get caught right here on this portion of the frame. So we added this little extension right here so that the steering could freely move and he could steer when he develops that motion in his left hand. Another big concern for our first prototype was the chain. The chain actually started to rub against the forks of the bike. So what we did was we dropped the bottom bracket, which is where the pedals are, about 2.5 inches, and that allowed the chain to, when it's in full tension, to clear that fork, and it was able to work pretty well, actually. Yeah, that's about it for the frame. Tim's going to talk about the steering.
All right, so our first idea for the steering, which I'll give you guys a little demonstration. We were going to put springs in the front and have them connect from the front of the fork to the back right here of the upright. After a couple designs, we then moved to bungee cords, which weren't strong enough, and we finally ended up with these rubber tie downs, which did the job pretty well. They keep it so the bike goes straight when he's not holding it, and this way he can kind of learn to bike before actually having to do all the steps of riding a bike. And then when he wants to take them off, you can easily take them off and have full control. The positives of these are that they're not made of metal, and they're not like you're not going to snag yourself on them. It's just a piece of rubber.
So next is the clamping system we developed. Actually, Dr. S helped us out with this one. We went through like probably 3 or 4 design changes of the clamping system, but what we ended up with is on the back of this kid walk. I don't know if you guys can all see it. I'm sorry, this is kind of bad. There's like a hitch right here that we attach. So imagine the hitch on the rear of a truck. So what essentially happens is that we'll show you guys when we're all finished with this. What essentially happens is you just wheel the bike into the back of this, and then with a push pin, it clamps in. Really simple, really effective. And then we have some side clamps, which are one of the things we hope that future students will be able to develop. They're kind of bulky, but they do the job. They essentially clamp around the existing frame just to hold in the bike. The simplest thing we could do with the time we had.
And last thing is, the only issue that we had with Jack being this little thing is that we wanted him to be attached to it, and so that he can use it freely. So the best way to do that, we wanted to make straps, but we used Velcro. And basically, that's the best idea, to have him attach his hands to the steering wheels and his feet to the his knees and his feet to the pedaling system. And that's pretty much what we use pretty much for now. There could be better ideas than that, but this is actually really strong, really it holds his hands really strong with the steering, and he actually was able to steer a little bit and actually push with the feet more with having a Velcro on his feet attached.
Some current issues that not issues, but some future ideas for development. We tested it last week over at Ivy and Jack's house, and Jack actually was able to power it by himself. However, obviously there's a very large learning curve that takes for all children to try and learn to bike. But one big problem that we noticed is his left leg tends to curl over. So maybe an idea for future design iterations is to figure out a way to keep his knee kind of parallel so that he can do this motion rather than kind of sideways. And then his dominant hand is his left hand, and that stays on the handlebars fairly well. But his right hand doesn't have much muscular control, so we feel that the handlebars might need to be tweaked a little bit. And as Nick said, the clamping system is fairly bulky, so I think a smaller or more condensed clamping system could be used.
So 3 really important dates that we had for this project is the due date is the day we submitted our project. We really hope to get into the semifinals on the 15th of May, and that's when the semifinals are on, and then hopefully to get into conference, as you can see, I'm sure, on the 20th to the 24th, which starts on the 20th. And hopefully we can get with this project until that point, and that's what we really hope, and that's it. Thank you so much.
So, go for it. So we're going to actually just show you how this works. And if you have any questions.
So the first key is, for the walker itself, the only thing that you need to do is take the seat out, which Nick has right next to him there. That just unscrews and pulls right out, and the rear trailer hitch clamp can just stay on there at all times. It's not really in the way of anything. Wheel that over here. That's locked.
Yeah. So sorry if you guys cannot see this. We're expecting
When we designed the clamps, we wanted them all to stay either on the walker or on the bike itself so that you wouldn't lose them when you're throwing the car or whatever you're doing with it. So that's why the clamps are always hanging. When you put the thing on, they're all connected and it keeps it from moving around. So.
these side clamps, rather bulky on the sides, but they attach fairly easily when you push pins. Except for when I want to do a demonstration of it. Because that would just be too easy.
Yeah, it's really easy to.
I've done it in 45 seconds once.
It's on YouTube.
Could you do it by yourself?
Yeah, I actually made it so when you're doing this by yourself, you're going to put the back of this walker up against the wall, which is